All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all can hear me okay. This is Dave Little, and we're coming to you live from the Dave Cave with what I hope will be an entertaining broadcast as we review the year 2024 in Heartland Championship Wrestling. If you're in the chat room and you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up and let me know that things are coming through A-OK. I've had some little confusion here on the tabletop. Tried to stream this live from my desktop computer without without success. So I've got my laptop and my desktop side by side going now with broadcasting from the laptop with information that is on the desktop. Got the thumbs up from the Ultimate Wildcat fan, our good friend Kevin Butcher. Good to see you, my man. Neil Lau is with us, Frank Wainscott, Kathy Evans. Good crowd here in the Dave Cave for this afternoon's review of the highlights of 2024 in the Heartland. So we will jump right into that and come back around at the end with some updates for what is coming next in 2025. 2024 was a really fun year in the Heartland. We started off on January 1st of 2024 with the Buckeye Bowl that was won by the one and only Mark Henry. Mark Henry took home this year's Buckeye Bowl in 2024. Was not able to convert that into a world championship, but it did put him on the map, and he has continued to have a run of popularity and some success over the past year. We then had the Filsinger Cup tournaments in October. We did not do a ladder match this year. I think that that didn't work itself out, but in the year to come, we will do the ladder match once again. We did not have a Money in the Bank ladder match in 2024, but we did have our Filsinger Cup tournaments, which culminated in October with the Allure, the team of Angelina Love and Mandy Leone, winning the ladies' tag team title. The men's tag team title was won by the Steiner brothers, who were able to convert that on to a world championship. The same is true for the ladies' champion, Jordan Grace, who converted her win in the Filsinger Cup to a world title, as did the men's winner, Pat Patterson. So 3 of the 4 Buckeye Bowl winners successfully converted their Filsinger Cup championships into title runs. And in fact, all 3 of those titleists currently hold the belts as of now. Now we get into the announcements of what took place over the course of the year, beginning with the match of the year, which took place back in April at Dawn of Destiny 2024, when Buddy Rogers defeated Harley Race in a best 2 out of 3 falls showdown for the Patriot Heavyweight Championship. This was a great match. Went the full 3 falls, was the culmination of a long rivalry between Buddy Rogers and Harley Race. These two were at each other just to get to the top. Buddy Rogers sort of leapfrogged Harley Race to get to the head of the line for his title match. Won the title, and Race came after him, and Race won the title back from Buddy. They changed it back and forth a couple of times, and at Dawn of Destiny 2024, it went best 2 out of 3 falls for the ultimate winner, Buddy Rogers, in our match of the year. We did have some other match of the year candidates, some honorable mention candidates that we might bring into play. Of course, Barry Windham defeating Ric Flair for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship at Heartland Havoc 122. The Cult of Personality show was a runner-up. The Steiner brothers capturing the Filsinger Cup Tag Team Tournament with a win over the Briscoe brothers. Jack and Jerry Briscoe was another match that was considered. And the final runner-up was Superstar Billy Graham defeating Rick Rude in 2 out of 3 falls at Heartland Havoc 123 Nowhere Fast. All of those were really good matches. Ultimately, I chose the match between Rogers and Race because that was the one match out of all of the matches that did not involve any bootlegs. Certainly Flair's bootleg and Superstar Billy Graham's bootleg and the Steiner Brothers bootlegs are all very, very good cards. And but choosing among those matches, I decided to be true to the Filsinger gaming tradition and choose the 2 guys who were legit Filsinger cards for the match of the year. Question from Kevin Butcher: did Flair leave the Fed after dropping the title? He did not. He went back to the Atlantic Wrestling Federation, where he is still trying to work his way back into title contention after dropping the title. He was in he was in contention for the title, and he lost a match to Bobo Brazil, and it was Bobo Brazil who took out Ric Flair in his chances of regaining the world title. Flair and Bobo have been feuding since then, and Flair is trying to regain his bearings and get back to the top of the rankings in order to get that next World Heavyweight Championship match. That takes us next to our Feud of the Year. The Feud of the Year for the very first time involved representatives from Heartland Ladies Wrestling. And this feud was brutal. Jessica Havoc and Ivelisse went back and forth and back and forth. Ivelisse brought in Joni Lauer, and we saw some good matches between Jessica Havoc and Joni Lauer, which were actually dominated by Joni. Jessica Havoc brought in reinforcements in the form of Rosemary. And so Jessica Havoc and Rosemary had a variety of battles with Ivelisse and Joni Lauer, and those battles came to a head in July at Freedom Festival 2024 when Jessica Havoc and Ivelisse went at it in a loser leaves town match. Jessica Havoc won that match, and we said goodbye to Ivelisse from Heartland Ladies Wrestling after Ivelisse had a long run as a very hated heel. So I think it was on the strength of that loser leaves town match that the feud between these 4 ladies captured the most memorable feud of the year. Of course, we had the faction of Whatever We Want, Jimmy Hart's faction with Jackie Fargo, Barry Windham, Terry Funk, and the likes, taking on the faction of Justice for All with Kevin Steen, Nikita Koloff, and that grouping. That feud was really dominated by the Whatever We Want faction. Both Windham and Steen both Steen and Koloff suffered significant injuries in that feud, and because of the injuries to Kevin Steen and Nikita Koloff, that feud kind of fizzled. And so that would be our runner-up for Feud of the Year. We had Dusty Rhodes and Pat Patterson have an interesting feud with the input of the Mountie, and of course the Jimmy Hart faction battling against the Heenan family in some cross-territory battles also attracted the attention of a lot of fans, but nothing to the extent of the loser leaves town match between Jessica Havoc and Ivelisse at the July pay-per-view of the Freedom Festival 2024. So that is your Feud of the Year, and for the first time, the ladies of the Heartland take center stage in that category. All right, now we get into the top performers of the year in terms of the rankings. We'll start with the Ladies Tag Team of the Year, and that would be your current Heartland Ladies Tag Team champions, the team of Tasha Steeles and Big Swole. They really took the Heartland by swarm, and just had a great latter half of the year, not without controversy. Big Swole was actually suspended for 60 days after a incident involving a referee. So Samantha Evans stepped in to assist Tasha Steeles in continuing to defend the ladies' title, and they have maintained their hold on the ladies' title throughout the latter half of 2024 to capture the recognition as the ladies' tag team of the year. Other contenders for that honor would have included, let's see, let me do a little sorting here. Data sort, custom sort by Fed, then by 2024, largest to smallest. Okay, yeah, the other contenders for the ladies tag team of the year. Second place went to Angelina Love and Mandy Leone, although that really wasn't even close. The separation between Steeles and Swole and the rest of the pack was very significant. In the Heartland ladies singles division, your wrestler of the year, again in a very close contest, Jordan Grace just edged out Kelly Klein for the Heartland Ladies Wrestler of the Year award. And if I'm sounding distant, it's because let me move my microphone over between the two computers, and we'll see if that helps. It was Jordan Grace taking the Ladies Wrestler of the Year award. She took the title from Kelly Klein later in the year after winning the Filsinger Cup for the ladies division. Jordan Grace also held the Mistress of Mayhem championship during the year, and just by the very slimmest of margins, it was Jordan Grace capturing the Ladies Wrestler of the Year award over Kelly Klein, and everybody else was way behind that. Holly Dead finishing a distant third in that category. In the men's tag team division, I neglected to add that slide. So without a slide, we will just go ahead and announce that the winner of the Men's Tag Team of the Year award in the Heartland was the Midnight Express. The team of Sweet Stan Lane and Beautiful Bobby Eaton finished the year as the highest rated tag team. They held the Atlantic Tag Team Championship throughout the year. Never did quite get over the hump and win the world titles. But by virtue of their year-long domination of the Atlantic Tag Team Championship, they accumulated the highest point total for the year. Runners-up included Jack and Jerry Briscoe, Tony Gurria and Larry Zbyszko, and the Steiner brothers. And of course, the Briscoes and the team of Gurria and Zbyszko traded the world titles back and forth over the summer. And because they were trading the titles back and forth, neither of them accumulated the number of points that the Midnights did, holding the Atlantic title over the course of the entire year. Yeah, the slide looks like it's above. Oh, sure enough, it is. Thank you, Salvador America, and welcome to the broadcast. Got it backwards. I went to Tag Team of the Year. Should have gone there before the ladies. So yeah, Midnight Express are your tag team of the year. Edging out the Jack and Jerry Briscoe and Tony Gurria and Larry Zbyszko. The Steiner brothers came in fourth. They were quiet for most of the summer, but came on to win the Filsinger Cup Tag Team Tournament in October, and that propelled them into the world title shot where they defeated actually the Midnight Express for the titles. Let me go back and look at the history here. Let me because I'm getting confused about my own federation here. So if we go to the World Heavyweight Championship, actually Bobby Eaton and Sweet Stan Lane did hold that title from July through November. And prior to that, they had been Atlantic Tag Team Champions for an entire year. So good on them. Jack and Jerry Briscoe held the titles for the beginning part of 2024, losing the belts to Tony Gurria and Larry Zbyszko in June. Gurria and Zbyszko immediately lost to Eaton and Lane. Eaton and Lane held those titles until the Steiner brothers came along and knocked them off in November. So yeah, Steiner brothers came in fourth, shortly behind Gurria and Zbyszko, behind the Jack and Jerry Briscoe, and behind the Ultimate winners, the Midnight Express. Did hold the world titles for a few months, also held the Atlantic heavyweight tag team titles for most of the beginning part of the year. So they had the most consistent run through the year and get the tag team of the year reward for that. And now the winner of the Wrestler of the Year is Barry Windham. Barry Windham had a great year in the Heartland. And if we go back to our history, the year that Barry Windham enjoyed in 2024, he captured the World Heavyweight Championship on June the 1st from Ric Flair and held it through November the 16th before losing it to Pat Patterson. And prior to holding the World Heavyweight title, Barry Windham was the Pro Wrestling Mid-America Heavyweight Champion from December of 23 up until June when he won the world title. So Windham far and away the Wrestler of the Year in 2024. And that's it for the year-end awards. On New Year's Day, just Wednesday, I finished the 2025 Buckeye Bowl. Actually, it spilled over into Thursday. I usually do the Buckeye Bowl on New Year's Day, which is my adaptation of the Royal Rumble. However, there was another Buckeye Bowl going on New Year's Day. It was the Rose Bowl. And I was watching my boys, the Ohio State Buckeyes. I know Ultimate Wildcat fan is not a fan of the Buckeyes, even though he lives in Columbus. So shame on you. I was watching OSU in Oregon when I should have been playing my Filsinger card game. And so the Buckeye Bowl spilled over into New Year's Day with a surprise winner. And I will either reveal the winner now or you can read about it on the page as I will post it later tonight. I'll leave it up to you. Do you want me to announce the winner here or would you rather wait and see? Ultimate Wildcat fan, how many years have you done your year-end awards? That is a great question. Let me pull those up here. The first year-end awards were in 2008. In 2008, we did not have a ladies division. We had the Wrestler of the Year, that was Bruiser Brody. The Tag Team of the Year, which was the New Age Outlaws. The Match of the Year was a Falls Count Anywhere match between Ric Flair and Stone Cold Steve Austin in 2008. And the Feud of the Year was an inter-promotional feud between Heartland Championship Wrestling and the Tradition Wrestling Federation that was at that time being run by the one and only Rob Bennett. Rob and I were doing a lot of back and forth stuff and cross-promotional stuff, and we conducted a big feud back in 2008, which turned out to be the Feud of the Year, the first time Heartland Awards were presented. We started presenting the Heartland Ladies Wrestler of the Year in 2010. And that the first time that was awarded, it was to cheerleader Melissa, who has now won the award 6 times. And in fact, she's won it so often and won the Wrestler of the Year and won the Filsinger Cup so many times that, that's the biggest reason I decided to retire cheerleader Melissa is that she's just been champion so much that it's time for new blood. So she was the first ever winner of the Heartland Ladies Wrestler of the Year. The Heartland Ladies Tag Team of the Year was first presented in 2016. And the first team to win that award was the Queens of Winning. Sarah Del Rey and Courtney Rush won the award for Ladies Tag Team of the Year. Question from Ultimate Wildcat fan. Any repeat Wrestler of the Year winners? And heck, I could probably put this up on the screen here for you all to see. I'll have to switch things over so you'll see some turmoil on the screen here as I open up my my spreadsheet where I keep all the awards. I have that on my desktop. I could not figure out how to get streaming live on the desktop, so I pulled my laptop in. But if we go to more workbooks and we go to history, here it is. So here we have the history of all the Heartland pay-per-views. And if we go to awards, hopefully you all can see my screen now. Let me magnify this a bit so that it will be easier to see. This is my listing of all of the awards that have been given out. And as you can see, this goes all the way back to 2008. Have there been any repeat winners? 2009 and 2010, Kurt Hennig won the award. And in 2020, 2021, and 2023, it was Ric Flair. Ric Flair, the first three-time winner of the award. And this year, of course, Barry Windham is the winner. Tag Team of the Year. The Dudley Boys, a couple of bootlegs, won that one in 2013 and 2014. The Briscoe brothers, Mark and Jay, won the award on two separate occasions in 2016 and 2019. That was the era where I was running virtually everything from the independent scene. You can see that the teams that won in those years were, when I was running mostly independent stuff, the Briscoe brothers, Jimmy Raven, Donovan Dijak, the Hit Squad, the Briscoe brothers. I was doing some co-op stuff in league with Mark Cantor and a few other providers or a few other promoters that were doing all indies stuff. King of the Indies, we called that. Then we saw the Steiner brothers win their first Tag Team of the Year in 2020 and repeat winners again in 2022 with the New Age Outlaws, who won the original awards in 2008. Surprised you don't do manager, most hated, and most popular of the year awards. That's a good thought, Kevin. Thank you for that. I just started tracking most hated and most popular, I think, this past year. And I really don't have a good way to quantify that yet, but maybe that will be part of my modifications to the Fed in 2025 is to find a way to track the popularity over the course of the year. So thank you for those suggestions. D. Scott Howard, welcome to the awards show. I guess we can call these the Davies or something. There's the Slammies, there's the Busties. We can call these the Davy Awards. And so thank you for tuning in for that. And now, at the request of Salvador America, we will announce the winner of the 2025 Buckeye Bowl. I will get this posted later today. But first off, I will start by showing the entrance to the Buckeye Bowl. Y'all can see my screen here. These are the Buckeye Bowl entrants for 2025. Make that a little bigger. And the way I do that is to get to 30, I pick 8 wrestlers from each of the 3 territories. Pro Wrestling Mid-America, as you know, runs the middle part of the country, Texas and Tennessee, and the former AWA territories, as well as World Class Championship Wrestling. Atlantic Wrestling Federation, which runs the Southeast, and Patriot Championship Wrestling, which runs the Northwest. The Northeast, essentially the WWE territories. So 8 wrestlers from each of those territories give me 24, and then I pull 6 wild cards. And this year, the winner of the Buckeye Bowl came from the wild card entrants. And the winner came from the brand new expansion 12 of the Filsinger game universe. Much to my surprise, the winner of the 2025 Buckeye Bowl was Hercules Hernandez. Did things a little bit differently this year. I did less infighting over the early rounds and kind of trying to balance it out, because I had never had a winner come from anything earlier than about entry number 23 or so. Hercules Hernandez came into the ring at number 3. And I figured that he would be, good for a show, and good way to introduce the card. And sure enough, he just hung on, and nobody could get him out. And he made a couple of big moves to eliminate a couple of guys. And at the end, it came down to Hercules Hernandez and the number 30 entrant in the Buckeye Bowl, that was the Great Malenko. And it was Hercules Hernandez eliminating the Great Malenko to win it, with Ric Flair and Barry Windham being the other 2 men in the Final Four. Ric Flair actually entered at number 2 and hung around all the way until the end when he was eliminated. But it was Hercules Hernandez. Didn't even have a role in any of my territories. I just brought him in because I wanted to get some new cards into the mix. And Hercules now wins the Buckeye Bowl. He will get a title shot on, I believe it's February 8th, the next Heartland pay-per-view, which will put Hercules Hernandez against Pat Patterson. And I'll have some fun with that in January. I'll have, managers come around and try and sign Hercules Hernandez, and he'll go back and forth as to whether he's going to be a baby face or a heel. Because although I originally intended him to be a heel, he performed so well in the Buckeye Bowl, and he eliminated one of the most hated heels in the Heartland, the Great Malenko. So he's gonna be a tweener, to say the least. And I've got some ideas for what I might do with him over the month of January to set up for his title match in February, and that will be some fun. Question from Salvador, America. What do you use to determine your awards? That is also a great question. For starters, I use a match formula that awards points to the wrestlers for each match that they enter. I shamelessly stole this from another guy from the Ohio territory, a guy by the name of Jeff Manning, aka Jay Mello. Jay Mello gave me his scoring system. Let me see if I can find it here. I have it somewhere in a OneNote. I'm not finding it right away. But anyhow, for each match that I'm not seeing it here. So in any event, wrestlers are given a point award for each match that they win and each match that they lose, and you get extra if you win by pinfall, as opposed to you get a slightly lower reward if you win by submission, or if you win by count out or by disqualification. And let's see, if we go to the 2024 version of the spreadsheet, you will see my standings. So at the end of every cycle of matches, I award points from month to month. So, in the most recent standing. Let's go all the way up to the top. We'll go to, let's see, these are right now sorted by the least popular. So Anderson and Blanchard are your least popular, most hated wrestlers in the territory. But you see each cycle of matches, there is a number of points awarded. Anderson and Blanchard got 10 points for the last cycle of matches. 2 victories, each worth 5 points. Pat Patterson got the highest total because he got a title. He got a match. He had a successful title defense, which was 5 points for the win plus 2 points for the title defense, plus a 20-point bonus for being the heavyweight champion. So that is where the 27 comes from. My monthly ratings are a rolling total of the last 3 months. So when I look at the last 3 months, Pat Patterson is the top wrestler over the last 3 months, and so he is number 1 in the current rankings. And then I keep a running yearly total over here. So for 2024, let me sort these again just for ease of use. Data sort by Fed. So this will sort them by, okay, so now all of the ladies come to the top because ladies singles are the first fed in alphabetical order. So if we look at Jordynne Grace, Jordynne Grace came on strong the latter part of the year. She won the title first back in cards 13 through 20. Held the title 30 points, 24 points in the most recent month for 84 points over the last 3. So she is by far and away the top wrestler in the current rankings. And then if you go to the yearly total for 2024, she totaled 149 points. And if you look down here to Kelly Klein, she was very strong at the beginning of the year, finished 1 point short of Jordynne Grace. So Jordynne Grace in the final month of the year managed to overtake Kelly Klein when Jordynne Grace successfully defended the title over Kelly Klein in December. That's what put her over the top. So that's how I do my formulas. All right. I think we've covered about everything, and I've probably bored you all to death with all the spreadsheets and the numbers and the calculations and all of the record keeping that I do, but I am a stats geek, second to none, whether I'm doing wrestling or baseball or basketball or whatever replay project I'm working on, I got to have my stats. And so Jeff Manning helped me out with these wrestling stats formulas. Do a Briscoe versus Briscoe feud in the Heartland for a fellow OCP member, please. Yeah, the OCP, the Ohio Con Posse. They are on a collision course. They're both in Patriot Championship Wrestling right now. Mark and Jay have been hired. Jack and Jerry were actually world tag champions for a while, so they didn't have a territorial attachment, and that's when Mark and Jay came along. So yeah, Mark and Jay versus Jack and Jerry is certainly a possibility in the year to come. All right, so that is going to wrap things up for tonight. Thank you to everybody who tuned in and for bearing with me through all of the technical nonsense. As we have been together this evening for about 45 minutes now. So Salvador America, Ultimate Wildcat fan Kevin Butcher, Neil Lau stopped by. D. Scott Howard stopped by. Dave Gardner was here earlier in the night. Kathy Evans, Frank Wayne Scott. And I believe that is everybody. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. That's our stream, and I am out of here.